my screen, right? I think so. So I hope so. I think it's sharing.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
So anyway, welcome. This is the very first online session for what are we? Fall 22. Man, where did this year go? It just seems like yesterday we were celebrating New Year's Eve. Oh, you be quiet. I don't need you making noise. Hang on, I gotta silence my phone or it's gonna drive us nuts. Sound. There we go. Off. Anyway, so for this online session, we have my students here from EE 1020, ENGR 1030, and ENGR 1040. I don't know if my 1040 students here or not, but well, yeah, it don't matter. It's all the same stuff up until the second exam. So anyway, I hope you all got a chance to view my video online. That was edited by my middle child. She was having fun with all the little animations and whatnot. But I've been teaching this class for, well, I've been working with the community college since '98. Yeah, that makes me an old fart. And I started out grading papers for Holly Moore, and then one day she comes up to me and says, "Hey, you want to help me with, they want to put this online. Can you monitor it?" And so I've been with the online portion of this course since its inception back in 02 or 3 years ago. We started out with just, I think I was using MSN Messenger to begin with, and I had no way to view, allow students to see my screen or, yeah, okay, so we don't need to go down this in material. Anyway, so we've evolved to where we are today, where I have spent hours and hours and hours and hours and hours upgrading and scrubbing my Canvas site, getting rid of everything that was 5th edition and turning it into 6th edition. And then even one step further for the 1020 course of scrubbing out everything and changing everything from 1030, 1040 to EE 1020. And I thought I had it all done, and I thought, yes, I'm perfect, I'm ready. And I had Holly take a look at it, and she's okay. Well, you got a 5th edition reference here, you got 1030s here, and good grief. So anyway, so we'll just briefly go through the Canvas website, get you familiar with some of the resources that are available to you here. I won't do the student view unless you really want me to. No, that's it. So this is the homepage. Up here you'll see the last 3 announcements that have been made in the course. Keep an eye on the announcements. That's how I communicate with all my students, is through announcements. I used to do emails, and I got yelled at by a student. Well, I never check my emails, so everything I do is in announcements in here. If you want to contact me, please do so in the Canvas Messenger system. I do have a community college email, but if things get in there, I tend to forget to go in and look for them. If you're having issues submitting a homework assignment, please let me know so I can go fix it so that this homework can be submitted. Because things that are submitted to me via the inbox or through my community college email account tend to get forgot, and I don't notice them until after I've submitted grades, when a student calls me up and says, "Hey, how come I failed the class?" "Well, you didn't have the assignment." "Well, I turned it in." And it was turned in via email. Just for right off the bat here, I do have one disclaimer. I only have 2 functioning brain cells, and so I tend to forget a lot. If it's not written down or sitting right in front of me, it's forgotten. So anyway, so here on the front page, a few items. If you go to the start here, you can download the schedule for your course. There's a 1020, 1030, and 1040. It lists all the due dates for be quiet. All the due dates for the homework, the practice exercises, the quizzes, other useful information like the last day to drop the class with 100%. Well, nobody drops my class, but it happens. So, fall break. I am very flexible on late penalties on stuff that falls on the fall break. So if you get it in before, that's great. If you get it in afterwards, I won't mark it late. It's hard to fit everything in around holidays. So that's there for both 1030, 1040, and on the EE 1020 course, there's also one there. Your goals, the syllabus, this is my personal syllabus. Online, textbooks. Just remember that the 1030 students do not need to buy the Excel textbook, so don't waste your money on that. Won't. So that's about it. But then some other useless information. Then it'll take you right into the course, and you can just continue browsing through there. If when you get into, you don't want to start at the beginning, you can come up to the chapter modules and just jump in wherever you're at, chapter 8, and it'll start you out there. So very useful. Okay, so resources for this course. We used to have a lot of resources in here. Oh, that's what got to get deleted out of there because we don't do remote access anymore, because you guys have access to and we don't have this one anymore, 5th editions, and we don't do this one anymore. Sorry, I got to do these editings as I see them, or I'll forget again. So here's a list, a link that'll take you to all the PowerPoints. These are updated for the 6th edition. And then Holly is currently working on the grader problems for the chapters that are missing, which are you come to here, you come down here. Chapter 8 is missing, so right now it's set up. Wait a minute. Oh, that's chapter 8. Oh, that's chapter 9. I went to assignment 8. But even here, this isn't complete. So Holly is working on getting all of the grader problems that aren't complete finished. Once they become available, I will put them on here. There are ones such as actually, right now, she finished up chapter 10 today, but they were in there. Oh, again, that's chapter. You're an idiot. Oh, thank you. You are so kind with yours. Go to chapter 10. There we go. Assignment 9, chapter 10. So, if it's not finished, it'll be a statement up on top saying they're not done. Those problems will need to be done in your version of MATLAB that you downloaded. And as you notice here, there are some that are done in the grader and some that are done in your standalone version. The purpose for that is I really like to go through the homework and grade it, because it gives me an opportunity to see how you're doing, see how the programming is coming along. I can tell a lot by going through and viewing your code and see where you're struggling. And that's one thing I like about the grader, is that takes that away from me. I don't see that. We will cover the grader here in just a minute. The grader is better for you in that it allows us to give you immediate feedback. I've been working most of these problems for longer than I'd like to admit, and I know where most of the students struggle, so I can put that into the assessment in the grader, and it'll pop up a message and it'll give you a hint on how to try and fix the things why it doesn't work. So that's why only portion of them is about 70% of them will be done in the grader and 30% done in your standalone version. What else we got? Tests, meet your teacher, downloading instructions, extra typos. So, like I said, the 6th edition just came out last semester, and as I was going through reading it, I found a bunch of typos. So this is for your convenience if you want. Like this one here, if you're reading through there and you try to put in this with 2 equal signs, it's not going to work because there's only supposed to be 1 equal sign there. And if there's been any typos associated to the homework problems on the on this page here, there'll be a note beside this here telling you that there's an error. Do this instead of what's in the book. Okay, so tests will be given at the testing center. It's usually available at the Redwood, South City, and Taylorsville. You'll have 2 hours to take the exam. Oh, yeah, as long as we're talking about tests, let's talk about tests. And I'll put this in an announcement too. Textbooks. You can use your textbook during the exam. For those of you who have hard copies, do not write in them, because if you have written in the textbook, the testing center will not allow you to bring it into the test. If you have an electronic version of the textbook, send me a link to the website that you access your textbook from, and the testing center will put that on a safe list, and which will allow you to access that website to get to your textbook. And they need at least a week in advance to do this, so I'll get that. I'm going to write that note down right here. So get me a link to your, and I'll put that on here so that y'all can see which links are available or are already listed. And if yours is on there, then obviously you don't need to send me a link if it's already listed. I do know that there are 2 of them that have already been where is it? Not Sarah. Here we go, Gladys. So if you're through Vital Source or Red Shelf, Bookshelf at vitalsource.com and Brightwave at redshelf.com. Those 2 are already set up to be accepted. So I'll get that into an announcement so y'all can see it. And yeah, so cool. Farm out, right arm, out of state, all that other good stuff. Okay, I think that pretty much covers everything in here. Let's go. Oh, so I did the 6th edition typos. So okay, these here. So the calendar here, over here in the center, this will list all of your homework due dates, as well as that Word document. Oh, and there was another thing. Last semester, I had one student ask me for a list of the problem numbers and what page they are in the textbook. So I created this Word document here. I hope I still have internet that gives you the page number where everything is. And right here is a link that will download a PDF or a zipped file of the PDF of the solutions to the practice exercises. Use those only as an aid, not as a crutch. Don't just go in there and copy it out of there and paste it into the grader, because you don't learn anything by doing that. Most of these practice exercises are fairly simple and straightforward. But this is here in case you get stuck and need that little nudge to say, oh, okay, that makes sense. Again, that's located from the home page down here in homework. And I got to get rid of the spaces between here. It's still a work in progress, so if you see anything wrong, by all means shoot me a line and let me know. Like this one right here, every Tuesday night there'll be an online lecture. That was last semester, so we'll need to find a time that you guys want to do this, and we'll change that. Okay, so calendar. So this is the MATLAB grader. I'm not sure what you guys see when you get into the grader because I don't have the student version, but I'm pretty sure you get in here to a courses and content page. There should be one for your semester or for your course. The reason these are different, again, is that 1020 only has 179 problems, where 1030 and 1040 have 211. And actually 1030 will even increase more when I get chapters 11, 12, 13, and 14 in there, because those are the ones that they do that 1040 doesn't. 1040 won't do Excel in MATLAB grader. So anyway, you'll come in here, you'll click on your course, and it'll bring up a list of everything that's in that folder. Then just come over here and click on whatever it is you're trying to work on. So let's go into homework chapter 2. This green over here tells me that students have been working on it. The red means that they're struggling. Then just and these drafts here, these ones are not assigned. Now Holly suggested that I go ahead and allow you guys access to them, but my fear is that if they're all there, you're going to think that they're all assigned. So I if you want them for practicing, that's fine, but then you can use your textbook and your standalone version of MATLAB to work the ones that aren't assigned if you want extra practice. So shoot me a message if you want me to go in and release those. So anyway, you click on the problem. This is not what you're going to see. What you will see will be when you click on the problem, you'll see this. Not that. Come on, go into Learner Preview. There we go. You can do it. I know you can. There we go. So this is what you'll see. You'll see the problem statement up here and a little area of MATLAB down here to work on. So first one here is, I'll just go ahead and work this out to show you how to go about doing this. So first off here, it says practice using the correct order of operation by creating MATLAB code to perform the following calculations. Use variable names specified. This is very important. Very, 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 very important, because when it gets down to doing these assessments, the assessments are set up to look for our solution for A, and if you've called this something other than A, it won't see it, and it'll fail. Even though you have the right answer, it'll fail because it's got to be the exact same variable name, and including case. So a capital A is different than a lowercase a. So anyway, so the first one here, A, is we want to do 5 squared. So we'll just type in here 5 raised to the 2. B is going to be 5 plus 3 all divided by 5 times 6. And here is, okay, so the command for square root, oh, well, okay, let me give you a hint. You can use SQRT, but you can also do the square root of 4 plus 6 raised to the 3 raised to the 1/2. Ooh, and here's a good one. Okay, so we got 9 times, let's just write it out the way it's written. 9 times 12 plus, you stole my plus key, plus 7 times 5 raised to the 3 plus 2. Okay, so the way MATLAB goes, the mathematical hierarchy is it does everything within the parentheses first, then powers and exponentials, and then multiplication, division, followed by addition and subtraction. Going to the final one here is going to be 1 plus 5 times 3 divided by Put 6 raised to the 2 plus 2 raised to the 2 minus 4 times 1 divided by 5.5. Okay, so once you got your code in there, you can run it to make sure you don't have any syntax errors. And then once you're comfortable with that and you want to check, make sure you're right, then you come over here and hit submit. And they all turn green. Yep, they all turn green. So if they all turn green, that means they're all correct, and you're done. And then you can go on to the next problem. If by chance you get one that's wrong, poof, it'll pop up and say, what? That can't be right. Holly, we got problems. That should have been an error. That should have been an error. There we go. Now we got the error. And then it'll pop up with some useful bit of information to try and help you figure out what went wrong. Okay? Any questions on the grader? Whoa.
So we can try problems that we get wrong multiple times, or
oh yeah, you can run this as many times as you want, and if you get to a point where you just cannot for the life of you figure out what the heck is going on, send me an email. I don't know if Boyd's on, because if you send me an email, and I'm sure we'll pick one that he's done correctly so that he can't complain. Well, it's still complain, but it won't be justified. So if you're struggling, I can come in here to the learner solutions, and of course I pick one. Oh yeah, because that one's not assigned. And see right here, it shows me that at least I know from the size of it that 2 students have tried this one and got it right. So I can come in here to the learner solutions, and it'll show me the code that they used to create it. Now see here they did something was an error, and they went back and corrected it, ran it again, and got it right. So, but if you're struggling, I can come in here, pull this code out, pull it into my MATLAB, and find out exactly what went wrong with it. And I can give you a good, for instance, actually is on 217. You can see here it's red. This the student who has having issues, and he just could not for the life of him. He's got this all here, but it just so Boyd, if you're on, apologize for not getting your permission to show this, but this code is right based off of what was the problem statement, because the problem statement has the mass 2 is the moon, mass 1 is the earth, so it has the mass of the moon heavier than the mass of the earth. So that was a typo in the problem statement. This is supposed to be a 2, not a 4. So if you run across anything like that, let me know so I can update the grader. This is only, okay, I had 5 students last semester working with the grader, and they absolutely loved it. They loved the automatic feedback. Not saying that I don't get back to you soon enough. I try to answer any email that comes in as soon as they come in, or within a day. I don't like you guys sitting around waiting for me to answer your questions. But with the grader, you get an automatic feedback. And obviously with this one, there was no way that they would, Boyd would have to figure out that there was an error in the problem statement, unless he'd pulled out the textbook and gone through and checked the statement in here versus the textbook. Okay. Any questions on grader? And I'm guessing everybody here has gotten into grader. I know there was some hiccups to begin with. I'm hoping this works good. Not only that because it gives you guys the feedback you need, some of the, but man, if I don't have to grade 70% of the homework, man, so much time that's going to be saved. I might actually even take a nap. Okay, so let's go into a little bit on MATLAB. Oh, that's the one that was noisy. So this is your standalone version of MATLAB. Let's close down all these. No, don't save. No. I was copying stuff out of here and putting it into the MATLAB grader. So this is MATLAB. If you don't like the way your MATLAB's set up, you can grab that window, grab it, and move it to wherever you want. I'm going to put it back because it's a pain to get in the back end. So I like mine set up this way so that whenever I open a file, your work is here in the middle. It gives me a view of a lot more information, and then I'll put over here on the side. I know the default setting has the editor window up here on top with the command window down below. But again, like I say, you can grab them, move them wherever you want, and it's pretty cool. So there's a couple ways to start working in MATLAB. This is basically a huge glorified calculator. You can put in here that like t equals 5 and hit enter, and so now t is assigned the value of 5. Oh, let's clear out all the other junk that was in there. T equals 5. So now you see over here that says that t equals 5 is a 1x1 array, class double, and it takes 8 bytes to store that data. We'll be getting into the bytes and bits and all that other good stuff, and formats and classes, and I think that pretty much comes out in chapter 3. So anyway, hi, I'm the teacher. Oh, I need water. Okay. So the things that you'll be using, you don't look for this stuff in your MATLAB. This is some shortcuts that I created that helps me with grading things that I got tired of typing over and over and over again. So I created little shortcuts like this one here. This clears the command window, clears the variables, and closes all figure windows. That's why I called it CCC. Very happy. You can do all your work in here. So R equals 6 and area is equal to pi times R raised to the 2. And so there's the area. You can do it in here, but if you do, the grader gets very, very, very cranky because it's hard to grade. The preferred method is to either come over here and do a new script file. And what the script file does is it allows you to write your code over here, pi times R raised to the 2. Oh, see, look at that. I didn't even use R over here. I used 6. You're stupid. Oh, thank you. So now if we run it, so what I did was I hit Control Enter, and that ran this code, and it puts it over here. And if you don't want a whole lot of string stuff going down there, you come up here and do a CLC. That clears the command window. Okay. If you don't want the output of your definitions, you can do a semicolon, and then it'll just output the ones that aren't suppressed with a semicolon. If you want to do that, that's great, but please don't put a semicolon on everything, because when I come in and run it, I need to see the output, and no matter how many times I run this, I'm not going to see anything because it's all suppressed. So the ways there of executing the code when you're in this is called an M file, because if we were to save this, okay, let's Oh man, this is like taking a drink of water from a fire hose. So much to tell. We'll come back to saving this. First thing is this current folder. This is a very important feature in MATLAB. This is where you save all of your work. You can specify different paths to different folders on your computer, but if you do that and I try to grade your homework, and if that file doesn't exist, I get errors, and it's not nice to get errors. So I prefer you save everything in your current folder. Now you can specify your current folder, and this is for the PC people. Anybody running a Mac, you'll have to do, I don't know how to navigate in a Mac. I've never operated one, so I'm all PC. But for us PC people, you can just click this folder with the green arrow pointing down, and then go to wherever your folder is. I just happen to have an online folder on my desktop, and select folder. So now everything I save and or load will go into this file. So if we come up here and click save, and save it, it comes over here, it's in this folder. Now this is called an M file because it has its extension is a .m. So now we can run this, and if we save it, we can close it, and then to get it back, we just double click it, and we have all our work back. Okay. One thing, the next thing you need to learn on is when you're doing your homework, I'd like each separate problem in its own section. What's a section? I will tell you what a section is. A section is a basically divides this file up into different sections that can be run individually. And to create a section, you put 2 % signs followed by a space, and then I would like to put in problem number. Okay, so now if we come up here and say y equals 5 and p equals sine of y. There we go. Now see if we clear the command, and if we just run this section here, that's all you're seeing. You don't see the area because I just ran this section here. And again, I ran this with a control enter. Or you can come up here and run this button here, run section, so that just runs this section. Why didn't you give me an area? Why didn't you give me an area? Unrecognized. Oh, because you got TNR. You're an idiot. Oh, thank you. You are so very kind with your words. There we go. But it was working before. Who changed that to a T? Somebody changed that to a T. I don't know. So anyway, so you got either the run section here, control enter, or you can highlight and right mouse click and evaluate selection in the command window. So if we do that, it'll, or if you're not running Camtasia in the background recording everything you do, you can also hit F9. But if I hit F9, it pauses the recording, and I did that once and didn't realize it, and went the rest of the lecture without knowing that I wasn't recording. Yeah, I was really bummed when that happened. So you can do that. Now if you want, you can do a control shift enter, and what that'll do is it'll execute this section and advance control to the next one. So watch the blue line over here on the left. See, it's gonna when I do a control shift enter, boom, it shifted down to where now the control's in here. So now if I hit that again, it does that. And another way you can do that is up here, run and advance. It runs that and advances down. You can also do up here, run to the end, which runs the whole thing. I highly recommend every once in a while doing the run to end, because not only does it run it, but it saves it. Oh, bless you. So we'll get into some of this other stuff here in a couple of lessons. This run box up here is really cool. I learned this out of the 6th edition. stuff. So we'll cover that in just probably the next lecture or so. What else is there to neat and funky far out right arm? Oh, okay, so this is an M file. And you notice that whenever I execute the code here, it comes over here into the command window. Another option is to do the live script. Okay, live script is kind of cool. It works the same way. So let's say y equals let's go 1 to 100, and x is equal to the cosine of y. No, get back. And then just plot x comma y. And we probably ought to do those the other way because I did those backwards because you're stupid. I know it. So now we'll clear this over here. When we run this, it doesn't come out in the command window. The results is published here inside of the live editor. There's your x, your y. And where's my plot? It's still thinking. Why are you thinking so hard? It's just a simple cosine plot. Hello? And if you don't want the output to, there it is. If you don't want the output to the right, you can click this button and it'll put it right underneath it. I like this one myself. But you can do either way. Just in advance, this is how the exams will come to you, is in a live editor. I like doing the exams in a live editor because when I go through and grade it, you'll see what I see when I graded it, and return it back to you. And if you want to get rid of all of the code that created this stuff, you can click this one here and it gets rid of the code and just shows you all the results. Neat. Farm out, right arm, out of state, all that other good stuff, right? Right. Cool. So when you're submitting your homeworks, for the grader, I need you to take a screenshot of the grader, because you notice it wasn't that easy to see who was doing what unless I go into every individual problem. So there is somebody who's put together some source code that will export out of the grader into Canvas, and Holly is setting up a meeting to discuss it with them, hopefully soon. But as far as the standalone stuff, if you're doing the live editor, submit this MLX file. If you're doing an M file, submit the .m file, and include that with the screenshot from the grader. What else am I missing here? Okay, the current folder of valid file names. Valid file names have to follow the same naming convention as variables. A variable in a file name has to begin with a letter. You cannot start a variable name with a number because it doesn't like it. So it has to start with a letter. You can use underscores. Underscores. And numbers in your file names and variable names. Now why is it important to file names? Because see, if I close this and close this, I can come over here and type in demo 2, and it just ran that code, and we should get a plot show up here pretty soon. Where's my plot? There's my plot. So if this is not a valid file name, then it can't do that. So I know a lot of students in the past have tried to put assignment octothorpe 1.2.3 or whatever. No octothorpes, hashtags, pounds, whatever you want to call them. You can't have special characters, just numbers, underscores, and letters. It must start with, and no spaces either, no spaces. And then, yeah, so Any questions so far? Have I put you all to sleep with my rambling?
When you say submit a screenshot, do you like of each problem or just showing that we
No,
completed all the problems?
I know last semester, okay, I'm not familiar exactly with the grader, exactly how it works and whatnot, but I know last semester my students that were doing it in here, when they went to, it doesn't matter. And I'm guessing that on the student version, it'll show you if you come in here somehow. It shows you that it had basically a bar chart over here showing all the problems numbers, and either green or red, and they were all red or green. So that's what I'd like to see, that that you did all the problems, and then just take a screenshot of that and submit it. I'll try to go back through and find one of those, and I'll post it in the announcement so you can see what it looks like. Yeah, and I apologize for making you all the guinea pigs for this hybrid type of doing the homework. But I honestly think that it's going to be very beneficial. Just based off of the feedback from the 3 or 4 or 5 students that I had doing it during the summer. In fact, they were very, very saddened that I didn't have chapters 8 and 9 ready to go. And just a little forewarning: chapters 8 and 9 are the worst chapters in the whole textbook as far as difficulty. That's where we learn conditional statements and loops and stuff like that, and it's very time consuming if you don't have any programming background. It's not impossible to do, and if you get to it and you're struggling, I'm available pretty much day and night. I work during the day as mechanical engineer. Okay, I'm supposed to be a mechanical engineer, but for the last year I've been a very highly overpaid machinist. But I can always break away and go to my office and meet with you online during the day if necessary. I'm usually up until midnight during the weeks, or in the weekend. I don't sleep. I go to bed at midnight and I get up at 6 o'clock. So it's very disheartening to see homework come in with the statement that you just didn't know how to do it, so you didn't do it. Well, the first thing you need to do if you're struggling is send me a message. I'm more than happy to come on to Zoom and work you through with the problems. I don't tell you what to do. I give you little clues and hints and kind of push you in the right direction, make you think and figure it out on yourself. I do that because I feel that you learn more gooder if you're doing it yourself rather than me just saying, we'll go in there and set this equal to 7. Well, why do you this equal to 7? Well, because that's what it has to be. No, you don't learn that way. At least I don't learn that way. And so, I don't. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I think I've covered. Okay. So yeah. I would be interested in feedback from everybody on things that are in the Canvas site and the grader. Once Holly gets done with the grader problem, she's going to start working on videos. She promises me that by chapter 8 we will have all of the homework in the grader and videos for chapter 8. I'll do the lectures if you guys want, but I guarantee you her videos will be better than anything. I can sit up here and blubber, but I'll do whatever you guys want. I'm here to help you guys learn this material, and it's really cool to see, to watch the students learn. That's really where I get paid, is to watching. I can't watch because I don't see you guys through the computer, but talking, I can just sometimes I can hear the joy in their voices as if it finally snaps in, and oh wow, yeah, well, that's easy. So, okay, so I guess a few things here in Chapter 2 that I haven't covered yet. So we've covered all the MATLAB Windows variable namings, creating arrays. So prior to the 6th edition, we called everything we did in here matrix. Matrix A, matrix B, and then 6th edition comes along, and we're no longer calling them matrices, but arrays, because according to the 6th edition, a matrice is basically an array that's all numbers, where an array can be other things other than numbers. It can be letters, strings, combination of letters and numbers. So the terminology, and so you'll hear me go back and forth between matrices and arrays. I'm trying to get more gooder at it, so there's anyway. So there's lots of ways to create array. So you seen me do one earlier, and you probably wonder why. To create this one right here. To create why. So again. When you're programming in here and you say r equals, okay, this is not setting r equal to this whatever we're going to assign. It's assigning a value to this variable. So we're going to assign r. Can you all see that, or should I zoom it in? There we go. Now we can see. The most simple way to do an array is put in your starting value, followed by a colon, and the ending value. And let's go in here and clear the command window so we don't see all that garbage. So now if we run that, you can see that we have r is now equal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if you just have starting and an ending point, it'll increment by a value of 1. Well, let's say we want to increment by a value of 3. So in betwixt here, we'll put in our increment. So we're start, increment, end. And so we got 1, 4, 3, 7, and it just so happens that it worked out good. So what if we went to 4? 4 doesn't go into 10 very evenly. So it gives you whatever it can and stops before going even higher. So it won't do the 10 because you got 1, 5, and 9. Okay? And you can, and if you want a really fine, so there's 226 variables by going, and the more data points you put into a plot, the smoother your plot is. Okay. So let's say that we know that we have a value. Say we want an array from 1 to 56, but we only want, let's say, 13 values. So then equally spaced. So then if we do line space without an E, give it our beginning value, our ending value, and how many we want. And so here we are from 1 to 56 with 13 values. Is that cool or what? Yeah, man, that is just righteous, dude. Okay. Another one, and this one is one of the students, if we want to do that logarithmically spaced, I can't do that because I don't know what the log of 56 is. But let's say we want to go from 1 to 100 with 11 logarithmically spaced. So a lot of students will say, okay, well, we're going 1 to 100 and we want 11. And then they'll say, well, look at that. It's all zeros. Why is it all zeros? That's because in log space, you put in the log of the value and not the value. So 10 raised to the 0 is 1. 10 raised to the 2 is 100. So now we'll go from 1 to 100 with 11 spaces, logarithmically spaced. So just keep that in mind, because there are several homework assignments where you have to use log space. You want to put in the log of the value, not the value itself. Okay, so now here. Would you stop and just talk? Okay, I'm sorry. Breathe deep. The gathering gloom. Watch lights fade from every room. Okay, so let's create an array that has 2 rows and 3 columns. Okay, you do that with a square bracket, and then you can either separate by space or by commas in your row or for each column, and then to get another row you put in a semicolon. So now if we run that, let's do a CLC here and create another square down here. So now we have 3 columns and 2 rows. Okay, let's create another one that has even more. Okay, oops, it has to start with a square bracket so that it knows what it's doing. And they don't have to be on the same row. I personally, when I'm doing my matrices, I like to put them so that they're stacked so that I can see that I got the same number of columns, or yeah, and the same number of columns for every row. So this works as well. So now we'll see W and T. So now let's say that we want to see what this this times that for each element in those arrays turns out to be. Okay, so you would think that it's just simply going W times T. Okay, but this is going to scream at me and say it can't be done because it violates the conditions for matrix multiplication. If you put well, we'll cover that when we get to it. You have to have, I think, if I did a transpose here, it'll work. Yeah, so. But that's not what I wanted. I want to see what 1 times 2, 2 times 5, 5 times 6. So to do that, we do what's called an element operator. I think that's what they're calling it. Yeah, a dot multiply element operator. When you're doing a multiplication of arrays or arrays, either a single column, single row, or a multiple row column, they have to be of the same size. You put a dot in front of the multiplication. And then that will go through, and now 2 times 1 is 2, 3 times 6 is 18. So that goes through element by element, multiplying them together. Okay, and if you want to divide them, you do a dot divide. Okay, dividing by matrix, it gives you an answer, but this is not element by element. I'm not exactly sure exactly what that's giving you, but you can't divide by a matrix. That's like dividing by 0. It just can't be done. So in order to do this, you have to have a dot in there, and then that's cool. And that works also with raising to a power. Whoops. Kumquat. Control Enter. So just be aware of that little dot multiplier when you're doing multiplying of matrices and vectors and other stuffs. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Convert. Okay. Oh yeah. I guess one thing I didn't show you is if you do. Okay. So this is in an M file. Let's say, oh dang, I wanted to do that in a live editor. You can come up here and right mouse click. Oh, you got to save it first. Let's do a control save. Demo free. And you come up here and right mouse click on that. You can open it as a live editor. Poof, and there's all your stuff. So is that cool or what? Yeah, that's cool, but you're getting kind of boring. You've been here for an hour. I want to go. Let us go. Okay. I think I've given you enough that you should be able to get through assignment 2. Anybody got any questions? Anybody still awake? Oh, see, I put everybody to sleep.
Yep, barely hanging on. No, this was nice. We'll see.
Okay. So for the 1030 students in here, I'll put out an announcement to find out what day would work best. Because up until the time that Holly does present me with lectures and maybe videos, even maybe after, if you guys want, I can still do the lectures. But I need to find out what day works best for you. I'm pretty much free every day of the week, except obviously Sunday during church time. I don't want to be sitting in the chapel with my computer talking to you guys teaching MATLAB. So I'm pretty much open. So just I'll go with majority. I already have one student saying that Mondays and Wednesdays would work best for him. And then the 10-20 students will be the same thing. Take a look at the schedule. That's basically, I think it was 5 days between an assignment and the practice exercise, and then 6 days after the practice exercise until the assignment was due. So it's got that shift going all the way through. I will be pretty flexible with late fees. Yeah. Good. I don't know. I'm not one of those. I hate calling myself a professor because I'm not a professor. I'm here to lead the discussion in this material. And it's not my intention or my purpose in life to see how badly I can make you guys fail. I'm here to teach you how to use MATLAB and Excel to be beneficial in your careers as engineers. We use MATLAB at my office. We do pipeline inspection tools of steel pipes, and we collect. Well, our computers collect data at 1,406 samples per second. And when we see an anomaly, she pulls that data out and puts it in MATLAB to give us nice colored plots to do the analysis on sizing of the defects. And we also use Excel quite a bit. So the stuff is useful information to have, and you'll need it for finite element analysis, numerical methods, and some of your other courses that you'll be coming up to in your higher courses. So I think I've covered everything.
Yes. Another question, like more for curiosity's sake. What's the difference between like Enter 1040, 1030, and EE 1020? Like, seems like they use like the same book.
Yes.
Same. Is there a difference between the three?
No, actually, for the first 2/3 of the semester for 1030, 1040. You are exactly identical to the 1020 class. All three are the same up until after the second exam for 1030 and 1040. After the exam 2, 1030 continues on with MATLAB, learning some symbolics work, some numerical methods, some advanced plotting, and there's a couple other chapters. I forget what they are at the moment. And then 1040, they move on to Excel, and 1020 is done when the second test is done.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah,
thanks.
And that's why 1020 is separated out of the 1030, 1040 Canvas site. It's because I had to stretch their assignments out, because when they're probably working on assignment 6 when you're taking the exam for assignment 12 or chapter 12. No, chapter 10. So the first exam covers chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 6? No, 5. Yeah, 6. Not 1, because there's nothing to do on chapter 1. So it covers 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, up through and including user-defined functions. And then exam 2 is 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then after that, and for my 1040 student, the final intent for 1040 does not have any MATLAB on it. It's purely Excel. And for the 1030 students, the final is not. Basically, the chapters 1 through 10 are what builds you up to be able to do the stuff in chapters 11 through 14. But the exam focuses on the material in chapters 11 through 14 rather than going into depth in the stuff in the previous chapters, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, so the most important thing you need to take out of this hour that I've wasted of your life is that if you need help, I'm here. Use me, abuse me, and throw me away with yesterday's trash. I'm good with it. I have a good therapist.
I got a couple questions, if that's okay.
Sure.
So number one, so you said something about late fees. Are you talking about late work? Is that what you're talking about? Like,
yeah, if you read
Okay.
if you read the syllabus, according to the syllabus, any work that is turned in late is subject to a 20% penalty for being late.
mhm.
I'm not a big fan of that. It is in the syllabus, so I'm bound to hold to that. But sometimes I forget. But
Okay.
I can't stress this enough. You do not want to fall behind in this class. There is a lot of work to do, and if you fall behind, especially in chapters 8 and 9, those are the hardest two chapters. If you fall behind, you'll have a hard time catching up.
Okay.
But if you do
for
fall
the
behind and need
second-
help, just reach out. I'm here, even with past homework. I'm still willing to help.
Okay, and the best way to get a hold of you is through Canvas?
Canvas. You can reach out to me in my community college email. It's arthur.fox@slcc.edu. But I check Canvas more than I check my community college, because mostly I get in there spam. Or, everything that goes on in Canvas, I get a copy of it in my email. Like today, I deleted over 70 emails because it was all the announcements that came out of 3 different Canvas sites, and all the homework assignments that are turned in, like everybody that did turned in the introduction video and made their comments. I get an email for every one of those. So a lot of the Canvas stuff in my community college email just automatically gets deleted. It's boom, 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 boom. And then I go into, if it has the Canvas logo, because I figure if it's got the Canvas logo in my email, I can go into Canvas and still have access to it. I'm not saying I delete your messages because there's too many of them. No, if it doesn't have the I have not yet deleted somebody's email. So.
Okay, awesome. And sorry, my final question was, you mentioned
Sure.
something about the exams being able to use their textbooks, right?
Correct.
I don't know if I. Okay.
Yes. So yeah, the exams, they will be. That's not there. I'll get them scheduled. They will be held at the testing center. You will have 2 hours to take the exam. You will have access to your textbook. If you have a hard copy, do not write in it, because if you write in it, the testing center won't allow it into the testing center. If you have an e-copy, I'm going to post an announcement to have you give me the website where you need to access your electronic copy, so that they can put it in as an exception, so that you can access it during the exam. You can use the help features in MATLAB. What help? So the biggest help feature in MATLAB is if you just type in help followed by the command, and it'll give you a list of help over here. I don't know why this is running so slow. And I use this one a lot, help plot, because all this stuff right here, I can't remember. Like I said, my declaration at the beginning of this lecture was I only have 2 functioning brain cells. And for me to remember all of this it's just not going to happen. So I use the help plot to come in here and find out what the code is to get a magenta colored line, or how to get a diamond dot on each point, or to make it a dot dashed line. So this is very useful to me. So you can use this help feature. You can also use the help up here. But that's it. There's no homework, no neighbors, no psychic abilities. Go away. So yeah, I'll have an announcement out like a week or so before the exam with all the details in it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and if I don't know if anybody is far enough away from the valley that they, it's much cumbersome to drive to Salt Lake just to take an exam. Get with me before the exam, and we'll set up some remote proctoring. I've had students as far away as, let's see, I had one over in Guam once. Where was that? I had a SolidWorks student somewhere overseas serving in the military. So I'm more than happy to work with anybody to get the exams done. So yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.